Of all 7 of this season's isekai offerings, Ascendance of a Bookworm I'll Do Anything to Become a Librarian has attracted notice for its quiet, small-scale conflict, where the protagonist's isekai cheat of real-world theoretical knowledge doesn't always translate to practical success. But while it's colloquially referred to as a moe medieval magical isekai version of Dr. Stone, Ascendance of a Bookworm has something else that's standing out more and more as the show develops. Or someone else, even if it's someone we've never seen. I'm talking about Myne. The original Myne. Reincarnation isekai don't always have the main character, well, reincarnated from scratch. This season's Didn't I Say to Make My Abilities Average in the Next Life shows us Mile at the age of 12, but we know she lived out Mile's whole life, in the anime. But in the light novels, she got her past life's memories at age 10, her soul is both herselves fused, and the reason she goes by Mile is because she's simultaneously Misato and Adele. And next year is bringing us an adaptation of My Next Life as a Villainess, All Roads Lead to Doom, where the lead replaces a fictional character when she hits her head. And that's the same for Myne. When Urano Motosu died, she entered the body of a child, eventually accepting that she's replaced Myne and getting accustomed to her new life. But uniquely for this series, it actually deals with that. First off, she's a 24-year-old in a 6-year-old's body, and while Myne looks like she's getting the hang of copying her old self's behavior, she sometimes screws up. Using big words and inventing new things with her future knowledge weirds people out a little, but beyond that, Myne makes a lot of mistakes and gets very frustrated with her lack of progress. When she's working on making new things, sometimes her family thinks she's just playing around. Her tablets are mistaken for firewood, and her attempt at papyrus gets nowhere after 3 days. And her sudden change, plus occasionally slipping into customs foreign to this new country, starts to look suspicious. People she didn't really know before, like Benno and Otto, only see Myne's behavior as that of a child prodigy. They note it's surprising, but they have no framework for the original Myne. But Myne's family notices she's acting weird. They just look to the side because they're glad she's alive. And as we've seen in recent episodes, Lutz looks deeper. He knew the first Myne, and he's been helping the new one. And he's the one who figures out that something is wrong and that Myne's not Myne. This causes their relationship to break down to where he stops using her name, and only helps her because he's already thrown in his lot with her. And they reconcile because Myne actually tells him the truth rather than cover it up. This is important because the original Myne is important. She's not just a cipher to slot someone into. Yes, whatever god took Urano Motosu's soul and dying wish and moved her to another world plopped her into the body of a dying child the second Myne kicked it because, hey, new vacancy. But the first Myne is still loved, and our Myne has to deal with the moral issue of replacing a dead child, even if she didn't have much choice. The first thing our Myne ever heard in this new world, back when she still called herself Motosu in her head, was the first Myne's dying cries. That's the heaviest part of Ascendance of a Bookworm. While the author has said in an interview that both Mynes have the same soul, for all purposes they're not the same person, and that actually has ramifications. Myne's quest to get herself a book moves into bringing literacy to commoners, and this and her recreations like shampoo and pancakes are already making a difference in her community. But no matter how much good she does that the original Myne couldn't, is it enough to make up for taking over a life that wasn't hers? Even if it was the only thing she could do. And that leads us to one thing that the series has been foreshadowing that could be enough. Keeping what happened to Myne from happening to anybody else. Myne was killed by the Devouring, a magical disease that wears out the body and soul and appears to be related to her mana. She's been told that only nobles have magic, but much like how only nobles have books, mostly, that's not by divine right. It's because they have access to things that will keep their mana from killing them. We've seen with the Trombe plants that materials are there that could bring that technology to the common people. If Myne can put the knowledge she's gained from recreating Earth inventions into practice and invent a suppressant. And with both literacy and the ability to channel mana without dying in the hands of the common people, she could save all manner of lives. That's what Ascendance of a Bookworm really comes down to. Myne's quest has gone from getting her hands on a book to bringing books to commoners, from keeping herself afloat to helping the community as well, and the individual and the collective needs flow together, and that couldn't be done without the show actually acknowledging that Myne is both one person and two people. and our Myne facing that her loved ones have lost the person they think she is without knowing it. She's not just doing this for herself anymore, and it's apparent with how the first book she wants to make is of Myne's mother's stories, as a combination of appreciation and atonement for not being the Myne they knew. The series couldn't be what it is if it glossed any of this over, and the fact that it doesn't makes the story that much more emotional. Let me know in the comments what you think of Ascendance of a Bookworm, and what else you're watching this season. This is Secret Identity Studio, and I kind of want to try making paper just to say it did.